right before the signing deadline, Chelsea agents sent the wrong paperwork, and the deal fell through.
Ziyech was in Paris in the medical center, in the PSG medical center, right? Just waiting, like on his phone, waiting for them to send the paperwork. And then at some point, some person has to go up to him and be like, yo, they sent the wrong papers. We can't sign you.
Especially for Americans, it's the pipeline to make the dreams happen for the kids who want to be footballers. You know, you could go to USL, you're going to go into MLS club, getting shipped out. You could leave early, try and go to academy overseas. Hopefully it's like, okay, this is another way for you to invest and to put your child in this situation to be successful.
When the owners have this quote-unquote unlimited money, you just throw it out, it cuts through everything. Right. Even Mbappe's staying at PSG, he's getting, what, $200 million a year? Yeah. And it's like a half GM too. So they're just like chucking the money, and it's just done.
Yeah, I'm not going to speak on our performance as a unit.
Because we did have to play afterwards.
I think there are some individual moments that deserve a special shine. You know, Gabriel had 4 goals.
You know, Arshavin? Put the Arshavin next to it.
Moving like Wayne Rooney's son.
Yeah.
Me personally, I think I was the best person there the whole night. Shout out to Quaz. He had a few megs.
Listen, Megs.
Quick feet, Quaz.
Megs over goals, man.
Shout out to Eli. You know, he made some incredible saves.
Oh, God.
Shout out to Seth.
Eli was finna fight, bro.
Shout out.
You don't fuck with him?
I didn't enjoy that at all, bro.
Talk about it.
Can we talk about it? Can we talk about it?
No, let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's Black History Month. What's up?
What's going on?
Every single time
Put my do-rag over this convo, you stupid.
I don't care.
And I got braids now.
I don't care who I'm playing with. I don't care who I'm playing against.
Okay.
I don't care what it is, bro.
I'm just gassing it.
Listen,
I know. You're bad.
I could be playing against 12-year-olds.
Wait.
I don't care, bro. If I'm losing, I don't want nobody telling me, yo, it's just a game, bro. We just here to chill. You're winning. So it's easy for you to say, oh, we just here to chill. I'm losing. I don't want to lose. So I really don't like it. And this happens a lot where like I start getting serious they start feeling the Haitian sensation and they realize that nobody could body me because when my feet are planted to the ground, bro, I am an immovable object. I am a mountain.
This guy is talking about immovable object in a sport where you have to move your body.
But vouch for me. When I'm protecting the ball, when I'm protecting the ball, who's moving me, bro? So when I start boxing out, like now they start saying, oh, bro, it's just a game. Eat your vegetables and get your weight up and then come talk to me. Don't tell me that it's just a game when I'm losing,
I will
bro.
say hands on the wall is a little different than when you're in open.
It don't matter. Bro, no.
Nah. This nigga look like Lil Kim. Hey, put the Lil Kim dance right here.
I'm not proud. I'm not proud at all of my performance. And, bro, I'll take that to the chin. I'm
not gonna lie.
I'm still nursing an ankle injury. If I remember. Go watch the last episode.
No, Wolf.
I'm still nursing an injury.
Crazy.
I'm not proud of my performance. But
I've never laughed like this.
No, Wolf. I want you to know some context.
Yo, he said.
No.
I'm not proud of my performance.
Niggas talking about organs. Yeah, you feel hurt.
Wolf, some context to this. I'm glad. I'm glad he's getting it off because there was a point where he was frustrated. You can see it on his face. He didn't say shit. So I'm glad he's getting it off now for me.
Hold on, for the listeners that are kind of confused because we kind of just jumped into a random conversation. So this weekend we had to represent ourselves in a game where we had to represent
Photo shoot, bro. It was a photo shoot.
Yeah, and after the photo shoot, we played a little game against another group of people. Yeah, and Elischa got a little bit competitive, I would say. And his competitive spirit perhaps didn't bring out the best performance, but it was certainly entertaining to watch for sure and to witness.
It wasn't entertaining to be in it because I wanted to win, bro, and I couldn't. Bro.
You were screaming at white women, bro.
You were yelling, bro.
The worst thing.
Hey, the Kuffi works, bro.
The worst
thing. Had it on.
The big bad wolf.
Fuck! Come on!
No, he was screaming. Yo.
The worst thing is like when you feel like
we'll play, bro.
There is such thing in all sports. There's such thing as like having a good day and having a bad day. And sometimes when you're having a bad day and you just can't get out of it, and you're like, you want to win, bro, it's extremely frustrating. I just do not like to lose. I don't care who I'm playing against. I don't care if you tell me today, bro, we going to play 5-a-side versus a group of like versus a group of like Premier League ballers. I don't care who it is.
Okay.
Once I say I'm playing, I expect to win. I don't care who it's against.
Heard it here first.
So if I'm losing, it's not going to be like, I remember at some point you were like, it's our first time playing together.
He's trying to rationalize it. It's not about rationale.
In that moment, I'm not thinking about none of that. I don't care who I'm against. This white girl was balling. She was going crazy. I'm like, there's no way, bro. During Black History Month? No. I'm not letting that happen.
Yo, what the fuck?
Nah, at one point he was
Gabe fell.
At one point he was screaming.
He said, "Get out!"
Get the fuck out.
Yeah. Oh shit.
That might have been when I got injured too,
I
bro.
wasn't on the field.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yo, I forgot. I forgot you did yell at
The
him.
Raptors, everyone's looking like, yo, what the fuck?
I was crying. No, I was laughing the whole
Yo,
time.
I forgot about that.
We're all just, we're having pizza, we're drinking, we're all, just talking about soccer from the lower field. Get the fuck
Wait. But he's screaming and running. Bro. Like the fuck. Sasquatch in that bitch. Holy shit.
Listen, man,
Soccer,
let's get into the podcast.
Wow.
That was an ab workout. That whole
Ab workout, bro. Holy shit.
Five-a-side podcast, footy discussions from our perspective and our perspective only. And today you are joined by
Sebastian, what's up?
Kendrick.
Elischa.
The newly braided Gabriel on his birthday podcast. Wagwan.
Yes, sir.
Wagwan.
Birthday recording.
Come on.
Josh.
Yes, sir. And we appreciate y'all for tuning in to Five-a-Side Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about the end of the January transfer window. We talking about, whole lot of players that unexpectedly got transferred out of their club. We're talking about Cancelo. We're talking about Sabitzer moving to United. Obviously, also, it's Black History Month. We're going to get into a whole lot of discussions about black players also in football today. We're talking about the week in football overall. There's a lot of news that have dropped. Mason Greenwood's trial being overturned. There's a lot of discussions in football right now. So stick around, Five-a-Side. Whether you're tuning in on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate y'all for tuning in with us. Make sure that you subscribe.
Download on Spotify.
Yeah, and check out our other episodes. If this is the first time you're tuning in, also to Five-a-Side, make sure you go and catch up the clips on socials, our other episodes too. Just get yourself situated with the Five-a-Side family and then come back to episode 16.
And sponsors. This could be your product right here. We could do some amazing content around your product.
Pixelated.
Nah, there's no logos right here. There's no
they're
logos.
not paying.
This could be your product. Hit us up. Got a lot to offer.
That's a fact.
But
Lots to offer.
Fendi.
yo, first and foremost, in the
Rihanna.
Premier League, Arsenal lose 1-0
Dumbass
to Everton. City also lose 1-0 to Spurs.
Dumbass team.
So it doesn't change too much from the. What you mean, dumbass team? It doesn't change too much from the title.
Bum ass.
Which team is bum ass?
Chelsea?
Both the ones above.
Manchester City. And
Oh,
Arsenal.
okay.
Well, we can get into Chelsea.
I thought you was talking about Chelsea.
That 0-0 with Fulham is crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways.
0-0 to Fulham after signing how many players?
Bro,
17.
We had like 3 different players the first.
Wait,
start.
hold on. How many players Chelsea signed?
It's not. I was joking.
Oh, I was about to say, God damn.
No, I think it's what?
We could talk
11?
about Chelsea every single episode.
600
bro.
million pounds worth, at least.
Yes.
Because y'all spend so much bread.
I think it was like 740 million.
Oh
My
my
fault.
God.
So about
In the transfer window
almost
itself?
$1 billion.
I don't
Does
know.
that make you like? Are you prideful that your club is able to spend so much money and still
I'm
be
not
average?
gonna lie. I think it's cool that they did that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. Yeah.
For the sole purpose of that, we've never seen this happen ever
Bowley
in the
went
history
crazy.
of football ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think for me at least, from the legal perspective,
Mhm.
it's impressive to me that they figured out a way to do it and not receive any sanctions. Like they essentially found a loophole in the system. And so as much as it's like nobody likes the team that just buys like wins in a say, I think I do appreciate the fact that they're doing something that has never been done before. And we'll see what happens.
Fair.
My goodness.
I'm not even getting into that media
That's fair.
spin.
I didn't think that Enzo was gonna
That was a good spin.
leave.
That was a good spin, actually.
I didn't think that was very I don't know who media trained you, but they did a great job.
That was some
'cause
rich get richer shit.
I feel like Kendrick might be on the Chelsea payroll. I'm not gonna lie
that was
to you,
crazy.
'cause that was That was so well
Y'all think Abramovich still
executed.
funding them secretly? That's what I was hearing.
Who?
Abramovich?
Yeah, people saying he still got that money tied.
Well,
You see that? He said he heard you.
Yeah.
He said who? I said we don't
No,
even remember.
but it's, I also think part of it too is that it's a very American thing.
Nah, to spend
what's
crazy
happening
for
right
sure.
now.
Nah, it is.
Capitalism is like at its peak, bruh.
We are the best at
Just spending as much as you can to get whatever results.
Yeah.
It's very American. So I don't know. I mean, obviously it's not like I love it, but I want to see what's gonna happen.
Well,
I think one thing also about it too is if you give that type of like energy into transfer window into the business, because it's actually football is a business, it actually also affects your competitors. You know what I'm saying? This club is not fucking around. This club does what the fuck it wants, and this club got bread. So it's like, all right,
yeah,
everybody pay attention now.
nah, and it is a business, and part of.
I just want to ask, so I want to set this question up, right? Enzo Fernandez is now the most expensive Premier League player ever.
Mm-hmm.
How does that make y'all feel?
I mean, game's gone. It's been chopped, bro. I mean, financially, like the expense always rises, and usually is associated with like the best baller. Like at first, I don't know if it went from Zidane to Ronaldo or something like that.
It went Kaká too, I think.
Yeah, something like that. But there's a point in our childhood I feel like, okay, it's actually like the players I'm looking up to. Enzo Fernandez is a cool guy, but bro, what's going on?
The money's just higher now. Yeah.
Right. No, honestly, I think that the moment for me where I realized that the game is heading towards an environment where it's not just the superstars or the best player in the world anymore who's the highest paid or who have the highest transfer fees is when Harry Maguire signed for United. Because before that, it was still like like again Neymar and
even Pogba, like that
Pogba,
that was a really big move.
Yeah, at that point, I thought that made sense. Like he's not just or at the time he wasn't just like a superstar player, but he's so highly marketable that you could understand why they would pay so much for Paul Pogba.
Yes.
But when the moment Maguire signed for United, that was like a bell that rang in my head that was just like the football game is changing.
Yeah.
And we're about to see a whole lot of money being spent that we as the fans are not going to comprehend at all.
Do you guys think nationality has anything to do with it?
I mean, there's British tax on Maguire, especially going to United. I think it was after the World Cup too, where he had a decent display for England in some moments. But as you said, you know what I'm saying, nationality, as well as the fact that it exposes that pricing isn't just play on the field. You have people who are marketing the players to the clubs. You have agents that are being paid and all those things. So for the fans, it brings kind of more of a fuller perspective. But
it's also just the World Cup tax. Like
the Morocco team didn't go for anything. That's why I was asking.
Well, they tried to get Ziyech. PSG tried to get Ziyech
for free.
That was a loan though.
For free. Unahi just went to Unahi, who's Moroccan, went to Marseille for $8 million. Amrabat still hasn't gotten a move. Bono, the Sevilla goalkeeper, hasn't gotten a move. The whole Moroccan team has stayed put.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we live in a racist world, so. But in terms of the World Cup tax, like, people are surprised at this price tag for Enzo Fernandez, but like he won the Young Player Award at the World Cup. We saw what happened.
James Madrid,
exactly. James Rodriguez at Real, he went for what, like 80 mil, and at the time, that's probably an equivalent. We're talking about inflation.
Yeah.
So it's like post World Cup, that's what happens. The players who win the big awards get the big signings.
I think one big thing
don't act brand new.
One big nationality does matter based on maybe not the nationality of the player, but nationality of the team. Because all these teenagers Madrid is getting from Brazil, those teams do not have any sort of financial situation where they can even demand a 130. So that 50 mil just gets the kid out for sure. You know what I mean? And Vinny might have been like 20, shit like that. And I also think Chelsea and Todd Bowley having so much money, when you throw these crazy price tags around, you don't even have to do a negotiation. Like they're just gonna sell him. So if I throw 100 million in Mudryk, no, he's just coming. I don't have to worry about trying to get it down to 65. So it's almost like when the owners have this quote unquote unlimited money, you just throw it out, it cuts through everything. Right. Even Mbappe staying at PSG, he's getting what, 200 million a year? Yeah. And it's like a half GM too. So they're just like chucking the money and it's just done. Yeah. You don't even have to worry about it after that. So
but Benfica's good at negotiating. They're getting a lot of money for their players from Nunez for what, 80?
Benfica? Yeah, there was a graphic of all the people they sold, like they bought for 5 mil, sold for 80. Nuts, bro. Leao was there too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Basically all of your clubs need to get y'all money up.
It's also interesting with the post World Cup tax too, being in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
It adds on to it. Like, the January window is already very hectic. People are going for ways to end their season well, do all that. So you press. Chelsea is not only saying get your bread up, but it's like we gonna get after the players. Like he's stealing everybody transfer target.
Nah, at the end of the day, they're getting ahead of it, but this is where the game is heading. Period. Like football as a business is making more money, is generating more revenue, and if you don't catch up, then you're gonna get left out.
Get your money up, not your funny up.
Speaking of that, though, there was another graphic too on how much more the Premier League has spent than every other league.
Facts.
I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think Chelsea alone outspent like the other top 5 leagues in the January transfer window.
Yeah.
And that's another big part of the disparity that's happening. Is like the finances in England is just another world, honestly.
But they should.
Graphics like that though, not to interrupt, but graphics like that though,
it's not to blame it. It's just facts.
But I'm saying graphics like that are misinformation because we already discussed episodes ago how yes, they've spent 745 million, but it's over the course of 8 years.
Cool.
While I understand that, money, though. Nottingham Forest. Think about how much money Nottingham Forest has. They bought like 20 players this year.
But 15th
in La Liga.
But it's not money it's not money that they've literally spent. They haven't spent the money.
No, I'm talking about Nottingham Forest.
We're not even talking about money at this point. We're talking about the fact that the Premier League probably brought into the league 20 times more players than the movement that occurred in the Premier League was way more than
because leagues are broke. This guy has
that's what I'm saying.
This guy has Spotify on his jersey.
No, literally.
Okay.
You know how much Milan spent this? You know how much Milan spent this transfer window? 400K.
Huh?
We spent 400K.
The doctor's salary.
We bought a Colombian goalkeeper.
First of all, I know you're not talking about my club.
Yeah, that's
first in the league.
They look good as fuck. I'm saying it.
10th?
It's not always about wins.
And it don't matter.
Don't get it twisted. Todd spent that money for some fucking wins, bro. It's just about the wins.
It's not always
about win, man. It's about
Tell that to Graham Potter, bro.
Man,
it's about character right now.
Either way,
you know it's not always about wins.
I do.
I will say what he was saying. He was saying the Prem should be better for spending all this money.
Yeah. So I don't know. Gabe and I were talking as we were going to play footy the other day. We are talking about how much the Prem is able to spend because of their TV deals and because of how attractive their league is in terms of bringing in players to the league. However, when you look at how the Prem exists in Europe, when they play games in the Champs, in the Conference League, in the Europa League, they're nowhere near as good as they should be based on how much talent they can attract. Premier League teams don't win the Europa League. They didn't do well in the Conference League. So that tells you that just because the Prem is
winning some Champions Leagues though.
They have, but I'm talking about the Champions League is a good marker for the top clubs. But when we talk about
deeper,
the average level of the Prem, it's good to look at Europa and Conference League.
Part 2 of this conversation.
Yeah, and I think too what happens when you're spending this much money and coaches are given less time, there's just less of development of identity with teams.
Yeah.
That Sevilla team that won fucking 4 Europa Leagues in 7 years, whatever it was. Not nearly as much as the finances, but they're actually building. It was Unai Emery, right, was coaching? They were actually building something, creating an environment, and having a style of play, and being able to beat teams that way outspend them. Yeah. Even Villarreal, who beat Man United, my fault, bro, in the Europa League final, and they scored all 11 of their penalties in the penalty shootout, which is nuts, by the way. I definitely agree.
That
with
is crazy.
For sure.
Yeah,
the keeper, the last minute, and United scored 10, and then De Gea stepped up and missed. Got to the goalies. That was a crazy shootout.
Overall, during this whole
I wasn't trying to come at you at all.
During this whole transfer window, it's been a lot of different transfers that, to be honest, were unexpected. Like Sabitzer to United, Cancelo going to Bayern, Jorginho to Arsenal. Yeah, for sure.
Cancelo offered himself to Real Madrid. Ancelotti wanted him, and the owner was like, "Nah, we're good on right backs when they're all injured and not half as good as him." Continue.
Yeah,
I'm tight.
Y'all be getting everybody though. So
yeah, but if the player's offering himself and we need that position more than anything, and the coach wants it, and the owner's like, nah.
Player though.
Yeah, Cancelo.
Cancelo's not just any player.
Yeah.
What are you saying? No, he's incredible. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like
emphasizing.
Oh no, for sure. I'm like, bro.
A lot of times, also, I think that fans, we see things at face value and we don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah,
I think that the owners of the clubs, there's a lot of their knowledge that we don't have in terms of what the landscape is, what a certain situation is. And again, he might have known something that we don't.
Pep, right? Isn't that a thing?
He might have known something that we don't, and he feels like that player just wouldn't be right for the club. So
that's fair.
Yeah, but also one thing that was really interesting is how much Leeds is becoming like Wolves with Portuguese players.
Yeah,
Leeds are like that equivalent with American players. Like Americans, period.
Yeah,
they got Jesse Marsh as the manager. Weston McKennie is here now. Tyler Adams.
Yep.
Brendan Aronson. Like they're building a mini U.S. men's national team, which I'm not gonna lie, I like it because it's good for the storylines. You know what I'm saying? The script writers are doing their thing.
For
you know what I'm saying? Keeping up with certain nationalities on the teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that more and more we're gonna start seeing that spread out. Obviously, like it's not gonna be like Leeds having all the U.S. men's national team players.
Yeah.
But
Can I just say?
yeah, I like how normalized it is now for Americans to just be in the Premier
Our
League.
whole national team's in Europe.
Yeah.
Now. Yeah.
If I've always thought, like, as a coach, that it would be a smart idea to have like a defense that was made up of the national team's defense. Like if I was a coach, I've always thought like it would be a smart idea to like just buy Croatia's defense, left back, center back, right back, and have that be like the back line that I run with.
Team.
Because like at the end of the day, like not only do they already have the chemistry that they're from the same nation, but they play together on the national team already. They've probably known each other because they've gone through the system.
Yeah.
I've always wondered why teams don't do that more. Just like invest in like a nationality to be your back line.
It's kind of hard to though at the same time because those are each individual people who have different family situations, different reasons they want to play at different clubs, different career aspirations. So it would probably be hard, even from a personal note, to get them to all want to play together.
Yep. But you look at Tottenham, they had the two Belgians for a long time.
And then there's rivalries too, because think about like PK and Sergio Ramos.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
But even within Barcelona, I was about to bring up Barca within the midfield, they definitely tapped into the Spanish national team for that,
all the time.
which is a good backbone. I think one thing that's interesting about the Leeds culture too, the fact that they have Tyler Adams, McKennie, and Brendan Aronson. These are all players that definitely symbolize hard work on the pitch, a lot of effort, a lot of grit. You know what I mean? And so to have that on the pitch at the same time is going to be good to see, as well as Leeds being, you know, they love to press. You know, that's what he does. So hopefully they do well.
Yeah, I'm trying to see their position right now, actually.
McKennie's a loan, right? It's not official.
He's on loan, yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully, you know what I'm saying, he stays. You can see it make it happen.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I feel like it's also bittersweet though, because as much as it's cool, like especially like growing up seeing even people we know like our age and stuff get signed overseas, it's like wow, like they get to go play in Europe. But at the same time, it's like we want that talent to also cultivate here. Like we want to be able to go see NYCFC and see a McKennie and see Tyler Adams like playing like in the U.S.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like, as much as it's great and I'm happy for them, it's also the flip side of that coin is like, when is it gonna be the time for the MLS and the NWSL to be recruiting that like American-born talent and keeping them here and building up the league here?
It's interesting, bro, because it might never happen. No, because think about like for real, like think about Brazil. Their best players are all in Europe. The Brazilian national team is made up of players, and that's the most successful World Cup team of all time. They're all in Europe. So we might just be a thing that we become the hot spot, you know, instead of buying the young Brazilian or, you know, the young Brazilian youngsters, whatever. It's the young Americans coming out of, you know, New York, Miami, LA, Texas, whatever it may be. But
do you like
that,
like
though? I mean, I don't need the American league to be the best league in the world for me to be happy. I want the national team to be the best team in the world.
Good point.
And the history of the way soccer has been created around the world and how Europe is that centralized location, I don't know what it would take to get us outside of that kind of top 5 league vibe that we have right now. No, it is money. It's 100% money, bro. Because the MLS clubs got to that level financially, you could slowly start turning it.
If the MLS...
It'd be crazy, too, because they're not even in the Champions League. Like, there's just so much history you don't have.
There would need to be investment across the Americas from the Brazilian. Like, if we could do like if Brazil is good, if Argentina is good, if Mexico is good.
It's different.
Then it becomes a serious thing.
It's interesting. Lukaku talked about it, I think, a couple years ago in an interview. He was basically saying that, like, the way he sees the American League becoming something like that would be if the homegrown talent, like, you know, 5 to 6 guys on each team were very quality, and they just started trying to attract people to come through. Because America has a lot to offer. I won't lie, especially with, I was about to say, from the lifestyle perspective to the weather, obviously, depending on where your city's at. You know, we're all hearing these Messi to Miami rumors. Even Pogba to Miami rumors and all that.
Imagine trying to get, like, an Italian player to come play in Cincinnati.
Nah, I mean,
Insigne in Toronto.
They just went to Toronto, which is a dope city.
Insigne went to Toronto.
Well, Toronto's cool.
And Giovinco.
I don't know about Cincinnati.
Well, hold up, though. Let's be real. Look at the Premier League. Look at the cities those teams playing. If it's not London or Manchester, maybe.
Speaking of London and transfers,
here we go.
That boy Ziyech.
Yeah.
You want to set up the story, because that's a nuts story.
What,
like
about how the paperwork
went the wrong.
Explain it, just because like if I was listening and I heard a story like that, I would actually.
And he started the next game.
So from my baseline understanding, essentially, one of our best players, Ziyech, Moroccan guy, he was trying to get out the club. He's trying to go join his brother Hakimi in Paris. and basically right before the signing deadline, Chelsea agents sent the wrong paperwork, and the deal fell through. And he started the next game.
They signed too many people.
And you could tell he was not trying to be there.
It was a typo, bro. They
I
signed too
think
many
it's
people.
I think it was on purpose.
Really?
Because not for real. Because post World Cup, pre World Cup, Ziyech was getting no play.
Right.
He was on the bench. He was on the reserves. Like
Mhm,
he was
mhm.
not getting touched.
And then
Post
Morocco
World
does
Cup,
well.
Morocco does well. Ziyech shines. He comes back and he's starting every single match.
Mhm.
And so it was clear that they were trying to like reinsert him in the system, which is what I've been saying since we started this season. Since we started the last season.
To say about that.
So you think they purposely sabotage his
But
transfer?
y'all been losing in time.
Seb loves it. It's a clip
That's
that.
hilarious.
not.
That's
listen,
hilarious.
I'm gonna be real.
That's
That
going
don't make
viral.
no sense.
no.
Why doesn't it make sense?
Chelsea,
Y'all have not been playing well, and you just bought 90 wingers.
Bro,
Chelsea-
it's been like 4 matches since the
And they have not been going well.
Chelsea absolutely sabotaged
Yeah.
the Ziyech's
And
transfer.
it doesn't make sense.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Think so?
Because I think that
Conspiracy music right now.
based
Cue
on
it.
how
Hey, royalty free. Cue that shit.
based on how they've been doing business, first of all, they're not a player of that profile. They're not gonna mess up the paperwork for Ziyech
Exactly.
as an accident. Like it's
There's
obviously
no way,
on
bro.
purpose.
There's no
But
way.
they're doing it because again, we see the way that Chelsea is doing business. It's all about we don't care how it's perceived. We're gonna do the business that's gonna put us in the best position possible. They don't care about being selfish. They don't care about being greedy. Whatever they feel like is gonna help them get to the next level, whether it's this season, whether it's in a year or two, they're gonna do that.
However, you want
That's
to talk
the
about
business.
you want to talk about perception.
Doesn't even help them though.
Bro, perception-wise, you know Ziyech was in Paris in the medical center, in the PSG medical center, right? Just waiting, like on his phone, waiting for them to send the paperwork. And then at some point, some person has to go up to him and be like, yo, they sent the wrong papers. We can't sign you.
Yeah, I feel
That's
bad for
fucked
him.
up, bro.
I feel bad for him for real.
That's nuts.
And he
Yeah.
speaks French. He'd be back
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Hakimi and everything. I think
Yeah.
he might have. I don't know if he.
I bet they probably had dinner that night.
Does he
Like,
speak
yo,
French? Oh, Algerians speak French. Moroccans
Moroccans
don't.
do too. Yeah.
Moroccans do
I was
too.
in Morocco.
Yeah, but
Do
he,
they?
They definitely speak French for sure.
but he was born in the Netherlands. I don't know if he speaks French. Like
Oh,
that.
was he? Okay, I thought he might have been on some Mars shit.
True.
But
They
yeah,
bad
that's
funny.
that's
That's a clip.
bro.
Imagine
Player
you not
treatment.
take the Kuffi off,
Player
bro.
treatment is very, very important.
As a Madrid fan, you know.
100%. And also the fact that like you just bought all these wingers and you're not even letting me go to where I'm trying to be, bro. Like that's just
Look, man, trust the process.
Shout out Philly.
Tap in.
Trust the process for real. And one thing I wanted to say to close out the transfer conversation, Nathan Opoku,
Oh, yes.
sophomore.
Yeah. Clap it up for the boy, bro.
Yeah, sophomore
time.
at Syracuse University. Number
Big
10,
on. Shout out upstate New York. Yeah.
I was about
got
to
signed
say.
by Leicester City.
Come on, Q's.
Yazurski.
Straight from college.
National champions,
nuts.
by the way.
That's a huge deal.
That's
Yeah.
great.
He's on loan, by the
That's-
way, to where, Berlin? He's on loan to somebody, right?
to Leuven
All right, he's on loan, I think
Yeah.
maybe in Belgium.
To
But
provide,
yeah.
to
from
provide
Belgium.
from Leicester. But
More-
nah, congrats to him.
More
But-
background on Leicester. They definitely won the Prem, you know what I'm saying, in the last decade.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the boy.
Come on, man.
I think it's great for the scene. I think that's something that that if we see more of it, we're gonna see a change in the culture, in the foundational culture of football in the US. Because if players are starting to get signed to college, from college, then that's motivating kids to go to college
Yep.
and actually get an education and not just, go from academy to academy to then just pro and then not focus on their schooling. I think that is a very positive thing.
Yeah.
The more players that get signed from college, the better I just think it's going to be a better opportunity for players to be multi-dimensional.
Yeah.
Because so many times, again, we've seen and we know people who know footballers too,
Yeah.
and generally we're told that, or from what I've seen sometimes too, is they know how to play football and nothing else. And there's only a few footballers who go out of their way. Like we see guys like Rashford, or who can write a book and who does a lot more intellectually outside of football. But a lot of times they just play and that's it. No,
wrote a
for
book?
real. A lot of times, like
Sick, bro.
athletes, period, they'll go and they'll play sports and nothing else.
No,
And that's
you're
not
not
to say, that is not to say that they're not intelligent
Nah, I
people.
get it.
That's
I get
facts,
it.
bro.
But in terms of the higher education, they don't go out of their way because why would you?
Why? Yeah.
Like if you're
Even
making
time,
bread,
even time is
Why
hard
would
to
you?
find time to do
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I think that because it's such a fragile career
Yeah.
to have sometimes, you could get injured in you're done.
Yeah, that shit is
that
crazy.
you have to have some sort of backing. And as a human being too, you want to be well rounded.
For sure.
So yeah, I think it's a great thing. Shout out Nathan, and I hope that more players start getting signed from college.
That boy was going to school. That's a Ghanaian boy, Opoku. He had to go and do school and ball, man. They wasn't gonna let him.
His parents said, "Go to college first."
For sure.
I will say really quick before we transition, the only thing about college ball is that you're starting late getting into the pros.
Mm-hmm.
So if you graduate, bro, you might be 22. Yeah. Endrick got signed at Real Madrid at like, what is he, 15, 16?
Yeah.
Just won Copa Libertadores, the Brazilian Super Cup, excuse me. He's about to get to Real Madrid this summer. Like, when he's 22, he's had 6 years. Vinny was 22, winning the Champions League, scoring in the final, 44 goals and assists at the World Cup. Like, that's the only thing about when you finish. Like, you're starting your career at such a later stage. So I think that might have a little bit of an impact. But, nah, if you get into school and you don't know you're necessarily going to go pro, phenomenal decision.
I want to say on Opoku, too, hopefully this is a sign to get more black people in general in the U.S. playing footy.
Come on.
Like, I hope this starts the conversation about, like, this is another opportunity that is not often told to, like, little black boys and girls that you can do to create, like, a successful career, successful life for yourself.
Yeah.
And just something that is also for black people. I think, like, oftentimes the perception is that soccer is, like, a European thing or it's just, like, a rest of the world thing.
Yeah.
But now we're seeing actual stories of black kids going through playing soccer their whole lives and really being able to, like, make a life out of it.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things that you highlight in there, and I think that's one of the things that we wish there was more visibility to, especially for Americans, is the pipeline to make the dreams happen for the kids who want to be footballers. You know, you could go to USL, you can end up going to MLS club, getting shipped out. You could leave early, try and go to academy overseas, you know what I'm saying? But here's a new case, and so granted, like you said, hopefully it's like, okay, this is another way for you to invest and to put your child in this situation to be successful.
Yeah. And then looking at our national team, I mean, just think about how much more diverse it's become now versus before. Yeah. I think in one of these games we started, at least 6, but I think it was more like 7 or 8 black players out of 11 starting on the U.S. men's national team. And they're all young too. So I think we're 100% in a new era where being black and playing footy in America is a common thing. And I think it's only going to become more and more common. Through Wavy Footy, we also wrote an article with 2 Cents FC that 16 of the 29 first-round MLS draft picks were black, which is more than half, which is
that's
disproportionately high because we're only about, 12, 13% of the population. So that was huge too. So I'm definitely feeling that, change is going to come like Sam Cook, bro.
I've seen just from being in the scene too, one last thing that I'll say is the more accessible the sport becomes, the more the scene is going to change. Because I think that, especially in the U.S. and for people who are listening outside of the country, one of the biggest reasons why basketball is so popular is because of how accessible it is. There are basketball courts everywhere, every state. I don't care where you are. Even if there's not a park in the suburbs, a lot of times you see basketball hoops in the driveway. Like, it's a very, very accessible sport. And even if you don't have a lot of money, some people build out of crates. They'll make a basketball hoop. They'll do something.
But soccer's just as accessible.
I was just about to say.
But I think that it's just
it's more accessible.
It's accessible in the sense that you can play it anywhere, but here people want to see some sort of infrastructure. The culture calls for something different. Like coming from Haiti.
What do you mean?
Like coming from Haiti, in my neighborhood, we used to just play. We put 4 rocks, like 2 rocks here for a goal, 2 rocks here for, and that's how it is in a lot of places all over the world. We'll play with bottles. We'll play with whatever we want. You know what I'm saying? Just as long as it's the concept of the game and the energy that it brings, and just the feeling that playing this type of sport will bring you. You know what I'm saying? Whether you have an actual ball or not. You know what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of us are so familiar with, like, the balls that are all ripped up or whatever. But we don't care. We playing football. You know what I'm saying? And that just brings out something different out of you. Here, though, like, you have to be on a court really to play ball. Like, these kids don't really want to they don't want to experience it like that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that
they want the infrastructure around it.
And I think that it varies how you get into a sport, how seriously you take it, varies on the society that you live in. It varies on also what you see that sport can do for you in the future. If you're going to take it, how your parents perceive that sport too. A lot of these parents will live and die by taking these kids to these AAU basketball games, taking them to the park, doing whatever they got to do, because most likely,
honestly, we should be talking to the parents, not the kids. We should be talking to the parents.
So, but I think that also all of and shout out to
the future parents too.
Shout out to NYCFC and New York Red Bulls. They've built a few mini pitches all across New York and New Jersey. But I think that a lot of them, a lot of companies, a lot of media companies, a lot of entities in football should work harder on having setting up that infrastructure. Like my boy, shout out to Lupe, who's a football content creator. And he was telling me that, to really do football content like that, he has to come up to New York. Because over there where he's at in Maryland, the scene is dead.
No way.
Like there's really
Maryland?
In Maryland.
Where Maryland?
Or where he is in Maryland. I'm not gonna have they pull up on Lupe like that. But
Germantown.
But basically, the scene is just different. And maybe, he might not be privy to the same things that you might be too. But it's if there are more courts, if there are more fields, if there's more five-a-side pitches, I think that we're going to start seeing the scene become a lot different. We're going to see a lot more lower income kids who come from lower income areas and families start playing the game. And we know what happens when these kids start playing the sports, bro. They're going to ball out, and it's going to change the dynamic of the scene here overall. So,
Go ahead. I got you after.
Sure. Yeah, just two things real quick for that. I think talking about how it's even more accessible than basketball, but we do have all these basketball courts. I've always wondered why more teams, non-profit, whatever it is, don't just buy out 1,000 mini goals and put them shits in every basketball court right under the hoop. That's way if you want to play.
That's how it is in Europe.
You know what I'm saying?
Every basketball court is a soccer field also.
And you don't even have the inclination that kids might want to play that weren't even thinking about, let's kick around a little bit and say, then they start having some fun. And it doesn't get in the way of people who play basketball. You play footy, the goal's right there. It's underneath the hoop. It doesn't interfere with anything. It's going to help the kids who want to play. And if you're just end up wanting to kick around because you see the goal, it gets you to do that as well. And then what you were saying as well about finances is we need our academies to get to a point that they're all fully funded. So finances is never an issue and you can just have the best players. You know what I'm saying? Because what happens is if you can't afford it and you have to pay to play, you're just not going to get the best talent. And that starts from the U5 shit. Because eventually it does become free when you're I don't know, maybe 14 for these academies. But if the other kid got paid for the best coaches from age 5 to 14, he might be better than the raw talented kid that couldn't afford that. So I think it's investment in both of those things, public access, and then for the academies to make it more affordable too.
That's a fact. It was an interesting point you brought up too, just about the culture within sports, especially the fact that a lot of these sports in the U.S. have a lot of infrastructure and equipment needed. And so things that don't have as much infrastructure needed, it's a whole different pace or flow, even mindset to have. You don't see people playing American football on the street.
True.
Granted, where the main sport in other places that's street ball. You know what I mean? It's interesting. I used to play with this little sock ball at home. My dad always saying, "Ghana, you just put a bunch of socks together, tie it up."
We also don't have streets in the U.S. like that. You can't just go out and play in the streets because it's not set up for that. Our streets aren't like that.
New York don't have alleys. Actually.
Bro, I'm gonna paint this picture real quick, and a lot of people who grew up outside of the U.S. are gonna this is a trip down memory lane, bro. Imagine this. You set up, I don't care if it's a bag, 2 rocks or whatever as a goal. Your friends from the neighborhood or from school or whatever gather around together. Y'all are playing, and it's whatever you have. If it's a good ball, bad ball, anything that you can to play football with. The ball goes, under a car. You have to try to
get your
slide under the car to get it to slide it out. That just goes to show, bro, all of these memories, when it's happening, you don't know what that's gonna do to you. Once you don't do that anymore, once you grow out of it. But all of these are core memories that shape and that really solidify how much you love this game. Because we will do whatever it takes to play football, bro. And that's what shows the real love for it. And I think that once kids start falling in love with football, once you start it's so easy to fall in love with this game that the more people are exposed to it, the more we're going to see the scene change. And the more people from all around the world are going to realize that, there's a landscape of players in the U.S. and this side of the world, period, that the world hasn't seen before. And that once we see them, it's a wrap, bro.
Easy,
The problem though with the beautiful scene that you just described is that that's not possible in the U.S. anymore. Because the infrastructure of the way that our cities are built in this country are not like the cities in Europe or in Africa or in Asia or in Brazil or South America, where like you can just get a bunch of kids in a field. There's no streets here where you can play like that. It's not looked at like if you saw a bunch of kids playing in the street, the police get called right away. Because that's not okay. Like you can't do that. If it's a bunch of low-income kids playing in the street, it's not okay. You can't do that.
Unless you live in rural Idaho.
Unless you live in rural Idaho, but then you're not exposed to the game like that.
Because in a lot of environments where we play, and it's also like even if you're blocking the street, if a car is coming, like you move everything, the car goes, you keep going, it's no problem.
But that's not okay here.
That's not gonna happen.
I was gonna add, like I was saying, I used to play with the soccer ball at home and stuff like that. And granted, obviously, just seeing street football in Ghana when I wanted to go out and play all the time. Personal anecdote, that used to be the thing with my pops, because I'll try and get kids, you know, in my neighborhood as well. My pops would actually be like, "You'll just get hit by a car," like actually. And that's the thing that's interesting, though. It's interesting.
In society.
No, for real. But it's interesting because of the fact that Paris is known to have a good street football culture. That is a European country that has infrastructure that's more developed.
Amsterdam too.
You know,
same way
and so
Milan, same thing.
You know what I mean?
Bro,
London, I don't know if England has that. It doesn't have the street football culture. Well, granted, the cages.
They have the cages.
Yeah,
South
but
London.
that is infrastructure to play though.
That's the thing. And so it's interesting to see that within Western, you know, very developed countries, the street football culture can be there, but it hasn't been developed here. So it is possible with that type of infrastructure.
The last thing I want to say, right, is for anyone that's listening, for any parents that are thinking about like what their kids should play, or any kids thinking about where they should move into. There are 1,600 spots in the NFL. There are 450 spots in the NBA. If you add those two numbers together, there are more European clubs that you could play for, more soccer clubs that you could play for. So the money that exists in soccer that is accessible to you if you get to a certain level is so much easier to tap into than if you get to that level in basketball or in football. Like a lot of kids have this dream of either, I'm going to play basketball or I'm going to play football, and that's the way I'm going to make it in pro sports. And they think about that because they think that that's where the most money is in sports.
It's not.
It's not. Soccer
It is not.
has
It's absolutely not.
And
Literally.
safer than the NFL too. A lot safer and longer careers. Just
that's the next point I was gonna make.
Yes.
Like, not only is it safer, and not only is the job security much more available. Like you can play as a soccer player for like 10, 12 years and like be fine, not have any like long-standing injuries. Your knees will be relatively okay, and your head will be fine. Like at the end of the day, basketball and football, like American football, take a huge toll on your body for no job security. Whereas in soccer, you can bounce around Europe for 10 years and come back and be fine. Like it's all right.
And there's a lot of other values in just being able to travel the world. Culturally, there's that's a huge asset. And I think that you're exposed to so many different people. Like there's a lot, like sometimes we talk about as one last thing, like how did all of these players are on the same team and they're all from different countries, like how do they communicate? That unlocks a different part of your brain too, that if you just stay in your country, you don't have that doesn't develop. So just being able to communicate with different people from different countries, learn a new language, all of that, there's so many more advantages to this game. And that's not to try and crap on basketball.
Not at all.
No, I love basketball.
The NBA or the NFL.
Basketball is very global too. To be fair.
But this game is just a different scene, and give it a try. But the game is growing. And speaking of the growth of the game too, even in the women's game, the World Cup is this year. We talked about this last episode, but this year, so apparently due to tickets demands, the 2023 World Cup opening match has moved now to an 83.5. So 83,500 capacity stadium in Australia. For all the people under posts on the internet, football fans who are saying that, who cares? Every time somebody talks about women football, it's like, who cares? We don't care about this, blah, 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 whatever. People care, bro. The demand is there.
Money on
People
it,
are
bro.
going all the way to Australia, bro.
Yes, people
That's
are
far as fuck.
traveling all the way to Australia to see women play. People absolutely do care. And that's beautiful to see that, again, any change that's happening in the game is opening up doors for all different aspects. So the more the women's game grows, the more entertaining it is, the more attention there is towards it.
Yeah.
The better it is for the growth of the sport in so many different angles.
Facts. And when it's ticket sales that are going up, when it's TV deals that are getting better, that's all finances.
Yes.
That finances can trickle down to the players and improve their quality of life as well, which then makes more young girls want to get into the game too. So just like as much financial investment as possible is what we want to see. So to see the fact that the opening game, they're moving to an 83,000 person stadium is incredible. So just hoping for more of that, honestly.
Yeah. I think that, very positive. I don't know if, I want to know from the fans too. It's like, if you had the opportunity, finances aside, I want to know how many people would, or who watch five-a-side, if money wasn't an option, how many of y'all would make the trip over to Australia for the Women's World Cup?
If you like football, it's an easy
You
answer.
should have to.
Yeah.
Yes, even if you don't.
But I want to know from the five-a-side people. I want to know our people. I want to know who's listening and how y'all feeling about this. I think that it should like be completely honest. If y'all don't care, I want to know why. And if you do care, I want to know, like, would y'all actually go to Australia and make that trip?
Shout out Aesthetic Football from Australia, who'll be showing mad love and sending us questions. So hope to see you there, bro. If we make it.
Nah, we going.
We getting flown out, right? Flown out?
We going 100%.
Flew out?
I already got my ticket. I don't know what y'all local.
Oh, my fault, bro. You got 4 more?
I'm
Came
waiting.
in the mail.
Yeah.
You got
FIFA.
Who you know on the World Cup squads, bro?
Don't worry about that.
Patreon. Nah.
Yo, one thing
Valentine's episode. Nah.
One thing also, Valentine's episode coming soon, bro. One thing I wanted to talk about too, though, because we talked about basketball and different sports and the NFL.
Hang in there,
The Super Bowl is coming up. And you supporting Philly, right?
Come on,
For the
Philly.
Super Bowl? The
All right.
Eagles?
Fly, Eagles, fly.
No, I used to live in Philly for the last 2.5-ish years before I moved to New York. Philly, absolutely incredible city. First off, we need to put footage of the Eagles fans wilding out after they won the game to go to the Super Bowl. That's right by City Hall where I used to live.
You saw
Bro,
Shorty
the
who broke her
energy
neck?
Huh?
You saw Shorty who
damn.
broke her neck?
Nah, that's crazy. What she
Oh,
did?
nah. She was on top of like a bus station. They were like going crazy.
On
and
the bus,
thing
yeah.
collapsed. And then the ambulance came and they put a neck brace on her. And there's a picture of her like,
That's crazy. But that's how much they look. Bro, the energy in
She
Philly
was
is
geek.
unbelievable. You got to see these fans. They're
crazy.
climbing up on top of the light poles, pouring rum over their head, jumping off. Bro, it's fucking. They didn't even win the Super Bowl yet.
Yeah.
It's nuts. But no, I lived in Philly. The energy, the people there are amazing. They're diehard for their city. They rep it because it doesn't get a lot of love. So I'm definitely rooting for Philly. Shout out Jalen Hurts for overcoming all the haters. Just a good underdog story in general. For athletes, look up his story. You know, similar to shit that we've seen in footy, but.
Shout out to Jalen Hurts, and also shout out to Jalen Hurts' agent, Nicole Lynn.
Hey,
she
black
is
woman
now
too. Yeah.
the first ever black woman to represent a player in the Super Bowl.
oh wow.
The first ever.
Sheesh.
Nicole Lynn, the first ever black woman to represent
Shout out Nicole.
a player
Shout out
in the
Nicole,
Super
man.
Bowl. Yo, shout out to
I
Nicole.
follow her on Twitter too. She's dope.
Black woman. And and this is apparently there's like she's more than an agent. Like she plays such a bigger, more nurturing role for all her clients. Like I'm looking on the internet and seeing all of these stories of how I forgot the name of the specific player, but I think like his mother passed away before he could actually before he made it to the NFL. And I think like during the draft, or there was some sort of ceremony, and she made sure she like had basically built like a shrine, put flowers and stuff like that on the seat next to where he was going to be sitting at to signify like his mother being there with him. Like she goes above and beyond for the player she represents. And that's just, as we all know, an indication of a black woman's love. Like they always go, and you know what I'm saying? We riding for black women
For sure.
till the wheels fall off. And so, yeah, just extremely proud
the
of
Dr.
her
Umar hat on.
as a black woman for you know, reaching this milestone in her career and just making history.
Yeah, and a little bit more Black history. The first Super Bowl with 2 Black starting quarterbacks as well.
Oh, nice.
Historically known as a white position. Obviously based on racism because it's the smartest position. So always did certain things that they wouldn't allow Black quarterbacks to, or not allow Black quarterbacks, but they weren't chosen for the position because they thought they didn't have the brain for it. Black quarterbacks have completely taken over the game, and to see 2 starting the Super Bowl for the first time.
Listen,
Perfect during BHM. Yeah,
we're undeniable, more than capable.
come on, man. Talk
For
about it.
real.
Jeez, hold on, wait a minute.
Say that again, bro.
I like that. Say that
Say
again.
that again, Cross.
We're undeniable, more than capable, bro.
Ooh, I
whatever.
gotta do a little
Speaks for
do a little
itself, bro.
snap for that.
Whatever we
Love
want to do,
Jones.
Yes, sir.
whatever we want to do, we get to.
We get it, fam.
Yes, sir. And yeah, man, Super Bowl is coming up. Who do y'all think is gonna win?
Philly.
Philadelphia Eagles.
Got to root for Philly.
Eagles. You got the 2 Kelsey
Oh, I'm
brothers
having
in
Super Bowl
Kansas
party, by the
too.
way. Y'all pull up.
Super Bowl party.
Bring your
We're gonna
favorite
be out
wings.
there.
We're gonna wing potluck.
Yeah.
No, wings potluck.
Favorite wings. I was gonna say something. I was like,
but
let me
good.
chill out for
You
today.
were wild as
But
nigga, bro.
in terms of
I don't want to know.
in terms of who we want to win, granted, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't tuned into the NFL crazy this year, but the Jalen Hurts story is what's been going around.
Yep.
It'll be nice to cap off your season with a win. However, the World Cup, we see that sports are a very heartbreaking thing.
Yeah, Mahomes already won it too, so let's see some new shit too. Yeah.
That I agree with.
Yeah.
And yo,
I'm just glad Tom Brady not there. Happy retirement.
I wanted to say on a more serious note, because I do want to just address this real quick because it's a story that's circulated for a few years now. I'm talking about the Mason Greenwood situation. For those who don't know, ex-Man United player. I don't think he's been actually dropped from Man United. He's been suspended. Yep. He was suspended by Nike also because he was arrested a couple years ago with charges of domestic violence and also, trigger warning, rape. And as of late, the charges were dropped because of, a lack of witnesses. I can pull up also the CNN.
Pull some facts.
We gonna pull up the CNN article just to give y'all the actual breakdown of what's happening. So charges of attempted rape and assault against Manchester United footballer Mason Greenwood were dropped on Thursday due to the withdrawal of key witnesses, the Crown Prosecution Service announced. A charge of controlling and coercive behavior was also dropped, according to the CPS. So, and they his representatives obviously declined to make a statement. But I think that one thing that's important to note is I would advise anybody listening and also us here to not be quick to make a judgment as to what the reality of the situation is, because the fact of the matter is none of us here know actually what the situation is. I think the biggest thing to learn from this whole Mason Greenwood ordeal is because the charges are dropped doesn't mean he's innocent. Facts. Because he was accused doesn't mean he's guilty. There's a lot of things that could lead us to believe that some of the things that his accuser brought forward were true. There was some videos of her with bruises and a bloody mouth and all of these things. And it's these ordeals are very sensitive, but I think that, again, we're not judges. We got one future lawyer, but we don't have any power over this specific case. But I think it's always a good opportunity, since it's in the news and it has to do with football, to emphasize that these things are serious, whether it's sexual assault, whether it's mental, emotional abuse of any sort. It's actually very, very serious. And I think that a lot of times there are jokes that are made out of these things amongst young men. Also, there's a culture of taking these things lightly, and young men get assaulted too. But around people, period, I just want to emphasize that if you don't know, to try your best to do a bit of research or speak to somebody who's made the mistake of being the assaulter, or somebody who's been a victim, to actually understand how painful that experience can be, how traumatic these experiences can be, and that why so many people are inclined to listen to victims or to believe victims. Granted, there are people who lie about being victims, but a lot of times, like, there are people who actually who go through things and who are not believed. So it's messed up overall, but it's important to educate yourself as much as possible, to not be insensitive about these subjects, because you never know also who around you has been a victim. You never know who around you might be an abuser or the person who does the assault. So my biggest advice to anybody listening to Five Aside is to educate yourself, to not protect somebody also who's been proven of being an assaulter, and to actually at least listen to someone who is claiming to be a victim, because this is serious and it affects people in a real way, and the effects of it are long and painful and hard to deal with and hard to get over. And so it's a topic that, I hope that y'all try to educate yourselves more. And I would, speaking to footballers overall, because I know how impactful their voices are, how much they have influence, I would advise footballers or teams or any entity in the football world to try and put the word out there to the people who listen to y'all, who watch y'all, who love y'all so much, to be more aware of those situations, to be more educated on the subject of sexual, mental, physical, emotional abuse, so that we can help influence and create a world where there's a lot less of these assaults happening. We're going to make sure we put also resources and hotlines in the description for if you're somebody who's afraid to speak out and who is dealing with any form of abuse or assault, that that there are resources wherever you are in the world for you to seek help and for you to get, hopefully, the peace, the healing, and the justice that you deserve.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just do your research on rape culture globally. It's pretty crazy, some of the stuff that's going on. Like, for instance, the femicides in Mexico. You look it up yourself. Just violence towards women globally. So just make yourself aware, and just remember that legality is not the same as morality. Slavery was legal one time. Segregation was legal. So just because somebody gets off by law does not mean morally they were correct. So
I'll also just say that, like, whenever I hear about these situations, I feel like the number one takeaway for me is that the world just needs more, like, empathy.
Facts.
More love.
Yeah, more love and empathy from the people who are involved in these situations, from the people who are, in the locker room making these jokes that lead to some of these situations, and especially the people on social media who, when we see posts like this go up, are cracking jokes in the comment or are saying just, like, really, like, offensive and harmful things. People just need to have more empathy and understand, like you said already, there are people that we know ourselves who have dealt with, like, similar forms of violence. And so when you're online making jokes and making light of these serious topics, it might be your best friend who's watching you do that. Or it might be, your brother, your sister watching you do that. So just, like, have more empathy and imagine putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. And it goes back to the conversation we had about humanizing athletes. Like, humanize people. Like, when you see these situations, understand, like, it's not just entertainment. Like, this is actually somebody's life.
Yes.
That you're making light of.
Yes.
And hold your friends accountable, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And to move into a lighter note, we care about, and we speak about all of these things because we do care about humans, we care about people, and of course, we care about everyone listening to Five-A-Side Podcast, tuning into Five-A-Side Podcast. We love y'all, which is why we try to get y'all involved into the podcast as much as possible. So we gonna read some questions we ask y'all all the time. And again, we emphasize it. Comment, DM us, whatever. We respond. Shout out to everybody who stop us, whether we're at an event or in the street, to be like, yo, I see y'all on TikTok or on YouTube. I tune into the podcast. We appreciate y'all. So let's answer some fan questions. Jasa.10 says, talk on German league, looking like Bayern not going to finish first. You know what's crazy?
They just won 4-2 though. I saw that.
I ain't even been paying attention because that's the thing, like, because it seems like Bayern is just winning every year. I've been paying so much attention to La Liga, to even Ligue 1, in the Premier League and the MLS more than the Bundesliga.
They've won. It has to be at least 8 straight. It might be more. This might be going to 10 in a row.
Yeah.
Bayern will still win the league.
They're still in first, and they're gonna win the league.
But right now, they're first place at 40 points after they're exactly midway through the season at 19 games.
Actually, a little bit more because they have 18 teams.
They don't have. They don't have 38 games?
There's only 18 teams.
There's only 18.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
So they have 40 points at first place right now. Berlin has 39 points. Dortmund at 37 points. And Leipzig 36 points. So from first place Bayern to fourth place Leipzig is only 4 points. So it's very much still possible to. Why y'all shaking y'all head, bro?
Dortmund is a rich daycare. They never get it done.
Wow.
Next question.
A rich daycare is crazy.
Yes. And a Dortmund fan was like, damn,
the baby
right.
noise.
Like, bro, and I fuck with Dortmund. I love all the young ballers. Imagine, pull up a graphic of all the players Dortmund has sold. Imagine they were on the same team. And they've been giving him the Bayern too. It's wild. But Bayern's win the league next.
I'm not accepting that. And you know what?
You're gonna make a crazy prediction right
Listen,
now? Like Senegal, say it to the camera, say it to the fans. Who's winning
the Bundesliga this year?
We got
and we have Bayern on
We
here.
got the Bayern Munich scarf. Bayern Munich commented on Kendrick's picture on Instagram.
Shout out Richie.
So,
Congratulations.
So shout out to Bayern Munich. I have no beef with Bayern. I just would like to see some diversity.
Kendrick, put
some
that.
diversity in the winners in the Bundesliga. So I'll say, I think that this year, in 2023, Berlin is going to be the Bundesliga champion. I'm calling it right now. Awesome. I feel it in my spirit. Really cool, I feel it in my Kuffi. It's vibrating right now. I don't know if y'all see it.
No, the funniest thing for me about
my Kuffi's vibrating. I think Berlin is going to win the Bundesliga.
Yo, what's vibrating?
The funniest.
Can we end this shit, bro? Let Quad speak, nigga. We got
Kuffi's vibrating.
We did
well.
That
is one of many things, though. I'm just saying.
We're doing well, bro. Yo, the end of the episode, he really turns into another demon. Let this nigga talk, please.
Oh, dude. Nah,
yeah, go ahead.
Nah, because you definitely started the Bundesliga talking about you don't watch the Bundesliga.
The Bundesliga. Yeah.
Bundesliga.
Sterling should go there.
Hazard as well.
Quad should go there.
So who?
Bundesliga should be comprised of only Ghanaian players, bro. The Nyash League for real. But go ahead, though. My fault, bro. Go ahead. You can talk. My bad.
No, it's valid. You got your no. You got your
I got it.
It's valid.
Yeah, I got my fix. Go ahead.
You're good. Next question though from the fans. From the
Next
followers.
question from the fans. Who do y'all think is the best soccer manager of all time? From Lee Got Bands says, who do y'all think is the best soccer manager of all time?
You're crazy.
And by the way, put some respect on Barca's name. Yes, sir. Put some respect on Barca's name, you heard? Stop playing with my team, bro. I appreciate you, Lee Got Bands. I got bands too. Because bands will make a dance. Yeah. Bands will make a dance. You know my stance. I like to go to France.
Yo, what's going on, bro? What are you really doing out
Who's
here,
the
bro?
best manager of all time?
Who's the best manager of all
Carlo
time?
Ancelotti.
Carlo Ancelotti
He has
not...
won... Well, let's put the facts out real quick.
No.
He's won the French Ligue 1, Italian Serie A, the British Premier League, the Spanish La Liga, and the German Bundesliga. And he's got at least 2 Champions Leagues. He's done it with different clubs. I'm going to give it to the Mafioso for sure. My guy. Carlito. It's a good shout. It's a decent shout. I don't know who the best manager of all time is, bro.
I think it's Patrick Vieira.
Because he's black?
I knew he was.
I like Thierry Henry more.
I know he was going to say that. You're funny as hell, bro.
Best manager of all time, Pep Guardiola. Yeah, it's not... Well, it speaks for itself, bro. He... Don't matter,
Thomas
bro.
Tuchel.
He won the Champions League as a manager, period.
Thomas Tuchel.
Treble with Barcelona.
It's not Pep.
It's not Pep.
It's Pep.
not Tuchel.
It's not
Tuchel's,
If you know
Tuchel's
ball,
the best
you know
black
it's not
manager.
Pep Guardiola is the best manager of all time, bro. Argue with me in the comments. Go
He
ahead.
said Tuchel's the
Why
best
do you
black
think
manager.
That's
So I
wrong.
think-
That's
That's a black
objectively
man.
wrong.
He's the best manager.
Who?
He's not a good.
Thomas Tuchel's
He's
the
a
best black
terrible player manager.
Why?
Every player that leaves his club cannot
Fuck
stand
up.
him. That doesn't mean you're a good
Black
manager.
man.
Yo, can we talk about what we're wearing today?
Hold on. He wins. He wins.
That's not all. That's not all it takes to be a good manager.
It's also doing with what you have. Yeah.
If just winning, like, cool, you can put Pep in there, but it's also about how you manage your players. It's also about how players speak about you once they've left your club.
And black players don't fuck with
If
him.
Yaya Toure is literally cursing your whole career after you leave, you're not the best manager. I'm sorry.
Listen, I absolutely understand that it takes more to be a great manager than just winning. But what's the other equivalent to that? What's your challenge to Pep Guardiola not being the best manager? Who is then?
I would say Ancelotti's up there because his players have never ever spoken badly about him.
Yeah.
And he wins. He's won
Everywhere.
everything.
Actually, the top
No matter
5.
where he goes, he wins too.
And he's
There's
the only
there's
manager to do what I said, win in the top 5 leagues, the league title.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do?
You got 3 champions.
I'm gonna do a little bit more research, and I'm gonna dig something about Carlos Ancelotti, and we gonna come back next episode, and y'all gonna be like, "Oh snap!"
Pull up on us, nigga.
Yeah, careful.
Cue the music.
Careful.
Yeah. What? I ain't playing with Carlo.
Careful.
I know that nigga
Italian
got
mafia.
connection.
I'll just
Yeah,
Speaking
I'm gonna go
of
hide in
mafia.
Miami with the Zoes, but yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of mafia,
Yeah.
Five-a-side pod is a mafia.
Come on, nigga.
And you know what the mafia does?
What they do?
What does it do?
Pop out every day.
Jesus.
What y'all got on? What you got on,
Chop,
Seb?
pop out every day, indeed. What's the fits looking like? Sebastian, what you wearing?
Today, you know, we got a by Sebastian Kaya hoodie. The Ronaldo one, you know, kind of clean.
No way.
some 6th
clean.
of June sweats.
Very clean.
Black-owned brand. And yes.
What's on the feet?
Howard, what are you
What's on the feet, bro?
Shoes.
Hey,
Slides. Slides. Shout out shoes.
Why? Like, why?
Anyways.
Why? You just gave him more.
Anyways.
Why are you laughing? Now you
anyways, we got the black on for Black History Month. Black-owned brand on the head. This is a daily paper scarf. This hoodie is actually real cool. I got it at a marketplace on Tompkins, and basically it was a couple. The woman does like embroidery. You can't see the hood because I got a scarf.
Turn to the side. We're going to zoom into that.
Anyways,
We're going to zoom into that.
the woman does embroidery, so she makes like the clothing, and her partner does tattoos, flash tattoos. So everything on the hoodie is like his tattoos.
That's fire.
It's cool.
That's fire.
DP on the pants, Docs on the feet.
Clean. One thumbs up. But yeah, man, as for me, we're gonna start from the bottom to the top, as five-a-side is gonna do. But right now I got the Zara's boots on. What's crazy is I don't usually buy footwear from like mainly clothing stores, but I walked into Zara's and I saw those and I was just like, yeah, I gotta have them. Got the faded black jeans on. Yeah, Zara is a fire store, by the way. I love them. But also got the, clean, just all black, long sleeve top, rings from the African market. There was a fair in Kentucky, in Louisville, Kentucky. Shout out to Black Arrow. I went and did a USL travel show with Black Arrow.
That's what's up.
Yeah, we found this African market and they were selling these rings, so I had to cop some, and of course E on the ears. And because it's Black History Month, shout out to Dr. Umar Johnson. You heard, you feel me? Had to get the Kuffi on the top. You know what I'm saying? Had to represent the motherland. We had to get
Put it up, bro.
Yeah.
The revolution will be televised.
It will be televised.
Fred Hampton was murdered.
Hey, that's a fact.
I saw that on
You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did not die from a bullet wound. He was suffocated in the hospital.
What the fuck is going on?
Yes, he was.
What the fuck?
I don't know about that.
No, oh, you didn't know that?
No, I actually just didn't know. I don't know, bro.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying. I didn't know that.
Yes,
That's crazy.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. got shot. He didn't die. He actually, the FBI agents went into the hospital room, and there was actually a nurse who was, they told her to leave the room. She said she's not gonna leave, and she actually witnessed the doctors and the FBI suffocate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I'm being very serious.
Is this Joker Benito Part 2?
Hey, bro. No, that's true. No, this is 100% real. They have admitted to this.
Now, I will say the CIA and the FBI do be admitting to previous crimes like 30 years later.
Yeah.
Like they admitted to the crack epidemic shit already.
It's
That's true.
Yeah, but repping the motherland, the Kuffi on the head top, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Africa overall. Shout out to specifically West Africa for the kente cloth. You know what I'm saying? My boy over here can attest to this. But I'm feeling extra blackety black today, so I had to come with the blackety black. The blacker the berry, the seed of the juice.
The darker the flesh, the deeper the roots.
Who's
Tupac said that, not me. But,
Okay, but what you got on?
You know, I got a little birthday fit, so I had to bring back the McQueens. Nah, nothing crazy though. I need new ones, bro. Come on,
Chef, bring out the McQueens.
Perhaps. Yo, shout out Cal, shout out Rock Nation Brunch, nigga. Invite me next year, bro. What's up?
This podcast gets so chaotic after 1 hour. It gets so chaotic. What's going on?
Yo, I'm dying right now. We got the dress pants, you know what I'm saying? Because it's my birthday on Tuesday by the time it comes out.
It's my birthday 3 times already.
Hold on, sing it.
Hey.
He said, hold up. He said, sing. Hold up, sing for me.
Give it.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya.
Come on.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Hey. And you sharing, bro, the same month as you, Neymar, Cristiano Ronaldo,
Feb 5th today.
Carlos Tevez are celebrating birthdays.
Crazy.
But the biggest birthdays of all,
Yes.
Gabriel Guisado. Ya tú sabes, quiero que...
Ya tú sabes. Bueno, but to continue, it's BHM.
Fuck yeah.
FBHM on the sweater. This is a Kith design right here from the New Yorker. So we got Martin Luther King Jr., the GOAT, right here on it. So, shout out MLK. Did not know that was how he really died. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
We need more people like him in this world, bro. It brought us very far. We got a long way to go.
Yes, sir.
Shades from my galley, same with the jewelry. And yeah, that's how we're keeping it. And
The braids is here.
Oh my God.
Hey,
clean.
mad designs to come. Shout out Mikey from T Cox. Quas put me on. It's lit.
Yeah.
Facts. Now, shout out them. I got Cortez on the sweats, on the head top as well. It's just the coldest week in New York fakes, you know what I'm saying? Got to keep one with the beanie. Shout out Saturday's football. You know what I'm saying? They're on the West Coast. They came to New York, copped this Inter Milan jacket. I think it was from the 90s. You know what I'm saying? He's putting up a thumbs down when Inter Milan just did you well. So do me nice, do me JJ.
They suck
I don't have shit to say.
right now.
We're ass. We're awful.
Yo, they suck so bad. Pause. Wait a minute.
Y'all want to talk about your favorite players right now?
Real quick.
Elischa, what player made you fall in love with football?
Player who made me fall in love with football, bro. Obviously R9, because I feel like I've said this many times, but my middle name is Ronaldo. I grew up in Haiti, and my dad was a huge Brazil fan. Like, he loves Brazilian players. And so, he gave me the middle name of Ronaldo after Ronaldo Ruiz Nazario da Lima.
Is there a moment you remember? Like a specific moment?
And I think that, so there's an ensemble of moments. I think growing up, like, my memory is kind of like, it's in and out of remembering exactly
what exactly
the moments were, but it was ensemble. It was an ensemble of like how I grew up. Of what y'all laughing?
You guys say you got a memory. My way my brain works, I don't got memories. But it's a fact.
But there was so many. It's because of just like the culture of in my neighborhood again, like gathering around with everybody, one TV, like watching. Not because there was a lack of TVs, just because it's just vibes watching.
We're not Bangladesh, bro.
Yeah, leave Bangladesh alone, bro.
I did.
But just having everybody from the neighborhood, just gathering together, watching the game. Like, I remember a lot of Brazil winning. I remember a lot of, again, like I said, my dad breaking the doors and things like that. So, but I think the player that really got me into club football was Ronaldinho in Barca, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm a Barca fan now. Some people might be like, "Oh, you wasn't a Barca fan in 1864, so you're not a real Barca fan." Like, bro, I'm not old. So okay, so at some point there was the player that got me the player that got me to really be locked into club football was Ronaldinho, and then obviously I fell in love with Barca. Then the Neymars and them came, Messi, and all of that, and it's no looking back from there. But
I'll add
Josh,
in,
what player made you fall in love with football?
It's interesting. So there's been a couple. I think we've kind of talked about this before, but one player that I think I should shed more light on, for me personally, really is Robinho. You know what I mean? And that's because, for instance, we talk about Ginga. We've talked about shit, man.
What? Why?
I've heard some things circulating about Robinho.
No, I mean, granted.
Yeah, go ahead. No, but it's valid.
There's more to the guy. I don't stand for everything he stands for.
Absolutely.
I'll verbalize it.
Absolutely.
I'll say it again.
No, go for it.
But in terms of like, and granted, even Cristiano himself being a United fan, but I just like the fact that he was very much about the joy of the game. Neymar talked about Robinho being his idol. You know what I mean? And so it definitely stems down. You can see that as well. It's also due to the Yogo Benito ads and stuff like that. So, yeah.
No, absolutely.
I can't deny that.
What player made you fall in love with football?
It was 1,000,000% Didier Drogba. Honestly, when I was probably like 12 years old, that's like really, I always played footy growing up, but that's when I was coherent enough to kind of like really follow a team. And that was when Chelsea was just bagging goals on literally every single club in the Prem. Like, I remember Drogba to win the Prem in like 09 or 010. He scored a hat trick in an 8-0 game against some bottom table team. I was just like, yo, like, nobody actually plays like. And for me, I was a forward when I played when I was younger. So I actually wanted to be him. Pace and power, bro. and just
It's so true, though.
elite finishing, bro. Like, and after the goal,
Yeah,
it's just energy, bro. So it's just growing up, I actually wanted to just play like him. Hence why I'm a Chelsea fan today.
Play like DJ. DJ Drogba stopped a whole war.
Yeah, bro.
True story.
Stopped the war.
Story.
Very true story, bro. We gonna get more into that in the next episode. But who's the player that made you fall in love with football?
It's hard to pick an individual player, but the first tournament I watched was the 2006 World Cup. So seeing young Ronnie go crazy, get Portugal to their farthest finish, a semifinal, that's probably it. Ended up balling out for United, Ballon d'Or coming to Real Madrid, so it's perfect for me.
I would definitely say I did shed light on Robinho, but my United, kind of like how I became a fan of them, was definitely partially due to that because he symbolized a lot of trickery. He's about goals now, but before that, he used to be a diving boy.
Yeah,
entertainment showman complete, bro. So that used to play the right wing. I used to play right wing.
To really real quick wrap up.
Sebastian didn't go, bro.
Oh yeah, I'm bugging. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Sebastian Kayat. What player made you fall in love with the beautiful game?
I think it's actually two players. Growing up, I was a Milan fan, but I wasn't really like coherent about
Milan?
I was an AC Milan fan. We just say Milan. Inter, and then we just say
I believe
Milan.
you. I just want to make sure that they know.
They know.
it's like when you say Madrid, it's Real.
They know.
Yeah.
So growing up, like, as a Milan fan, I enjoyed the team. I was a fan of the club, but I wasn't really like a fan of the game itself. And then when both Balotelli and El Shaarawy were playing for Milan, like it was just different. It's actually just different. Like to have your club represent like the absolute most like cool factor that can exist in soccer at a certain time was such a cool thing. And then the way that Balotelli went on to like play insane at that Euros, the celebration, like the iconicness of his career, like growing up, like Balotelli really for me made soccer like the game that I wanted to play. I used to play with like the mismatched Pumas, like the pink and blue ones.
Same.
I even did the Mohawk one year, like actually. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I have pictures with the Mohawk
same,
and the
same.
matching Pumas,
Same.
the mismatching
Yeah.
Pumas.
I think most kids, most black strikers and most black forwards, like in the US and even in England, there's a photo of them with the Mohawk and the mismatched cleats somewhere. Because like I talked to a lot of people and all of us are like, yeah, no, I used to do that too. So,
One last thing I wanted to say also is because I remember we spoke about Neymar and him being like the last of a dying breed. And me just, as y'all talking, I'm remembering also like all these memories of seeing Ronaldinho play. And it's just dawning on me that how magical this guy really is and how again, you're talking about Balotelli of Drogba, of Ronaldo. It's like these players, just what they do on the pitch and them being so passionate about the game that they love and translating that on the pitch and how it affects us and how like now it's a part of our identity and how much we enjoy the game. It's really a beautiful thing. Like and for Ronaldinho specifically, if you're somebody who's really not privy to Ronaldinho and how magical this guy is, please go on YouTube and look at some highlights. Look at anything,
actually,
bro.
Art in motion.
This guy Ronaldinho is really an artiste.
I could have stopped him.
Like you could not have stopped him, bro. Stop playing,
bro. He would have missed you, turned around and just started smiling.
He was like y'all see like if you're watching football, if y'all watching football right now, if y'all watching football right now and you see how Leao is smiling all the time, bro. That was Ronaldinho. Like he
not smiling
he played,
anymore.
He's not smiling anymore right now.
Smiled, bro.
But Ronaldinho played with such happiness and such joy and such love, and that translated with the game so perfectly. It was literally rhythm and motion. This guy it was a symphony watching him play.
The guy had
and again,
too much football sense.
Yeah, I miss I miss him playing for Barca. I miss him playing for Brazil. And yeah, man, shout out to the legend Ronaldinho and shout out to whoever the next Ronaldinho is going to be. We can't wait to see you play. Please come soon. We don't want the breed to die.
It's Garnacho.
But
I want to give a special shout out to Pele Soccer Shop in Times Square.
Facts.
For having me DJ, provide the tunes, provide the vibrations for the 2023 Italian official jersey kit release.
Fire.
Thank you for y'all for coming and supporting.
Of course.
Always, bro.
Shout out to Mickey,
This man.
supporting as well. So Tuesday was great, and then we had a crazy follow up on Wednesday.
Yeah.
With rum and beer football.
How was that? I wasn't there, but how was the
vibes, bro? We might have to put a little video of it too. Niggas was dancing, it was drinking, it was drafting, it was good energy.
Yeah.
Way to kick off the league is gonna be starting up in April. Yeah, it's always good vibes with them, bro. Different type of league.
Shout out rum and beer.
They make it so everybody plays, has a professional feel without having to pay a cent because it's all sponsor funded. So it was dope, bro. It was really cool.
Shout out to DJ Messi.
DJ Messi was going crazy, bro.
DJ Messi had
and he was in the crowd doing the Jerusalem dance with them. Like he was really interactive.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did his thing.
No,
DJ
for I was gonna say shout out to the whole org. I think it's season 5 for them.
I think so. Season 5, yeah.
Yeah, 5 years going strong. So you know what I'm saying, they put on for Brooklyn for
5 is a good number.
The best
You know what I'm
number.
saying?
5 is the best number.
Come on,
Facts.
G.
Get me.
And then what happened? Friday then was the next thing.
Friday was a mausoleum.
And
Friday
we
was
had,
Monday,
it was
so.
cold as hell.
Cold as bird.
We was at the
I
ground,
forgot we was there for a minute. I even forgot how Friday went.
bro.
Yo,
Friday was nuts. But yeah,
Shout
with
out
the
to
photo shoot with
shout out to
the FC.
Full Kit Wankers, World DFC. Appreciate y'all having us.
Big time.
Had the opportunity to do a photo shoot and video promo for their new kit release, Channel Orange and Blonde.
Inspired by
yeah.
Frank Ocean album. Oh, and very, very quickly to end, because we got to get out of here. Music. What are we listening to right now? I'm going to go ahead and say Over by Drake is a big throwback, but that's been just ringing on and on and on and on. Over by Drake.
It's Grammy night.
In my playlist. But yeah,
Grammy night.
It's Grammys.
Grammys right now. So real quick.
Chef!
Chef, come on. Congrats to all the winners thus far. We're shouting out black women. So Viola Davis now has an EGOT, which means she's won an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. That's crazy.
Legend.
My favorite artist, Kendrick Lamar, has already won at least 2 awards for The Heart Part 5, Song of the Year, and I think Best Rap Performance. So congrats to him on that. He should definitely win Album of the Year. Congrats to Drake, Future Thames, Wait For You, Best Melodic Rap Performance. I think it was too. So shout out everybody at the Grammys. Best of luck as we hear some award being announced right now.
Absolutely. But
And if they give Best Rap Album to Jack Harlow, we riot. Go next.
Oh my God.
We riot. You imagine?
Oh my God.
Scary.
Young Harley.
During Black
That was
History
a-
Month?
That was a loaded statement, bro.
During Black History Month?
We're rioting.
Not actually. Guys.
My favorite album right now, favorite artist right now that I've been listening to is Bawo.
Hey.
Yeah.
W.
Nigerian,
Put me on, bro.
London-based artist, kind of like lo-fi rap. He's
Very-
mad smooth.
very melodic, bro.
Yeah.
Guys,
Bawo, BAWO.
no, it's a fact.
Check him out.
If anybody is in a bad mood and just wants to be happy, as I was in last night writing essays, Magic System, Premier Gao.
Yes, sir.
I played it. Oh my God. I actually just played it. Oh my
C'est
God.
deuxième Gaou qui est Nyatao.
I don't know.
Hey!
Bro, if you're in a bad mood, like I was in,
Come on.
tears are streaming down your face. It's just, sad, terrible, depression. Play the
Oh,
song.
man.
You'll be
Are you
happy.
good, bro?
Legendary.
Not last night.
Are you good now?
Yes, after
In
the song.
general, are you
Yeah.
good?
No, yes.
Okay.
I think that's a breakup song, actually.
It is.
Yeah.
It
It's
Like
actually
last.
is.
C'est deuxième Gaou qui
We're all
est
happy as fuck.
Nyatao.
Dying.
On dit chéri cocoé. Qu'est-ce que tu veux manger? Oh, ah.
I don't know, man.
What you been listening to?
That's a fact. I'm looking right now. Granted, with the whole shoot we just had, definitely Frank Ocean, know what I'm saying? Blonde was tough. Channel Orange was tough. LeJuice has shouted out before. Still been on the rotation. I'm trying to see who else. Yeah, man.
Oh, one thing I'll say too, that aside from Over by Drake, that I think for the first time in my life, I'm actually like really listening to the lyrics and really feeling the energy of these songs. Bro, Drizzy, bro, this man, this more and more every year. Like I gotta give him
Where's
his
the
props.
camera?
Don't leave me
camera
hanging.
looking?
But I gotta give him his pops, bro. Drizzy is on a different level. But one thing also that I'll challenge y'all to do, Johann Strauss, he's a composer from Austria, actually, and he made classical music. I challenge y'all to go and check out some classical music, Johann Strauss, Beethoven, Mozart. That's something that like I tap in like when I'm on long drives and things like that, some classical music, and that I've been getting back to.
Yeah.
So yeah, anybody listening, Johan Strauss. Just check it out and let me know what y'all think.
Real quick, fun fact. I was my name was going to be called my first name. I was gonna be named Gustav. After Gustav Mahler, my dad's favorite composer, speaking of classical music. Yeah. My mom was like, nah, but you can make it a middle name and make it Spanish. So that's why my middle name is Gustavo. So my parents are big classical
Gustavi.
Gustavi, that's it. Gave me that name. My mom played violin. I actually toured around Europe and shit.
Wow.
She was in high school for like the California Orchestra. She was first violin, some shit. Yeah, she was going around Europe. Paris,
it's in the veins, bro.
Yeah, bro.
It's in the genes. It's in the stitching.
The music runs in the veins, for sure.
And the Levi jeans.
Come on.
But yeah, man, we appreciate y'all so much for tuning into Five Aside Podcast.
Yeah, champ.
Make sure y'all check out all of our episodes again. If this is the first time you're listening, if this is the first time you're watching Five Aside, check out everything else that we've been doing. There's a whole lot of it, and you will be entertained.
And let us know what you want to see from us, what type of content you want, what type of interesting different things you want to see that we can sort of give to y'all as viewers, because as you know, we are a family and we want to give you what y'all want. So,
road to 1,000 subscribers.
Road to 1,000.
Oh
no, we're getting it on this episode. This gets us to 1,000. Monetization coming, money coming soon. Niggas got the videos. We out there. Come on.
We're going to see y'all on the next. Peace. Bow.
Love y'all.